everyone, and welcome to the 2018 City of Isle of Palms Municipal Inauguration. Happy New Year. I love seeing this big crowd here too, and the little people in the big crowd too. Is absolutely great. We are a family place, so that's awesome. Let me put a quick plug in for if you have not done your preparations for this winter storm. When you leave here tonight, please do so, because we're going to have precipitation, and so everyone's going to need to be ready. So the first order of business is that I would like to call on the Very Reverend Monsignor Lawrence McInerney for the invocation. That is going to be followed by the presentation of colors and then the Pledge of Allegiance. So all rise now that you got settled.
The judge is in the room.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we gather mindful of your blessings, thankful for the beauty of the place we live, thankful for our freedoms, mindful that we are all placed together in your inscrutable ways in this place and at this time in history. We ask your blessing for those who serve in public office. We ask your guidance, that you enlighten them to what is good and you give them the strength to pursue it. May they lead our communities to justice, goodness, and peace. We pray this in your name, for you are God forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, the Isle of Palms Fire Department. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated, although I would ask that Representatives Satilli and Lorraine, if you will stay. I just want to acknowledge that we have Representative Satilli and his wife Lorraine in the audience with us tonight. So if you have any complaints about state law, I do want to tell you that the oath of office you're going to hear tonight is set in state law. So, and also acknowledge that he was mayor of the city for a long time. So thank you for being here. And now we will do what we're here to do. We will start with the office of mayor, and I would like to ask Mayor-elect Jimmy Carroll to come forward. And also City Clerk Copeland is going to join him, along with Carol Powers, who's actually going to make him swear, and sons Jimmy, Capers, and Winslow.
James E. Carroll,
do solemnly swear
that
I am duly qualified,
according
to the Constitution of the state, to exercise the duties of the office to which I have been elected, and that I will, to the best of my ability, discharge the duties thereof, and preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the state and of the United States. As mayor of the City of Isle of Palms, I will equally, fairly, and impartially, to the best of my ability and skill, exercise the trust reposed in me, and will use my best endeavor to preserve the peace and carry into effect, according to law,
according to law,
the purposes for which I've been elected.
the purposes for which I've been elected.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. And now we'll move to the swearing in of city council members. First will be Randy Bell for his first term of service, and he's joined by his spouse, Mimi Bell.
I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear.
With your name.
I didn't do that. I, Randy Bell, do solemnly swear
That I am duly qualified,
that I am duly qualified,
according to the Constitution of this state,
according to the Constitution of this state,
to exercise the duties of the office
to exercise the duties of the office
to which I have been elected,
to which I have been elected,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and I will, to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties thereof,
discharge the duties thereof,
and preserve, protect, and defend
and preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of this state and of the United States.
the Constitution of this state and the United States.
As council member of the City of Isle of Palms,
As council member of the City of Isle of Palms,
I will equally, fairly, and impartially,
I will equally, fairly, and impartially,
to the best of my ability and skill,
to the best of my ability and skill,
exercise the trust reposed in me,
exercise the trust reposed in me,
and will use my best endeavor
and will use my best endeavor
to preserve the peace and carry into effect,
to preserve the peace and carry into effect,
according to law,
according to law,
the purpose for which I have been elected.
the purpose for which I have been elected.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. And next we have Ryan Buchanan, who is returning to service with the city. And he is joined by his spouse Sonia and their 3 sons, Ashton, Beck, and Colin. We've been watching these folks at inauguration since they were about the size of our young visitor over here.
9 months old. 9 months old.
I
I, Ryan Buchanan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I am duly qualified,
that I am duly qualified,
according to the Constitution of this state,
according to the Constitution of this state,
to exercise the duties of the office
to exercise the duties of the office
to which I have been elected,
to which I have been elected,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and I will, to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties thereof,
discharge the duties thereof,
and preserve, protect, and defend
and to preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of this state and of the United
the
States.
Constitution of this state and of the United States.
As council member of the City of Isle of Palms,
As council member of the City of Isle of Palms,
I will equally, fairly, and impartially,
I will equally, fairly, and impartially,
to the best of my ability and skill,
to the best of my ability and skill,
exercise the trust reposed in me,
exercise the trust reposed in me,
and will use my best endeavor
and will use my best endeavor
to preserve the peace
to preserve the peace
and carry into effect, according to law,
and will carry into effect, according to law,
the purposes for which I've been elected.
the purposes for which I have been elected. So help me God.
Congratulations. Next, we have John Moy, who is starting his first term on City Council, and he's joined by his spouse, Christy.
I
I, John Howell Moy III,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I am duly qualified,
that I am duly qualified,
according to the Constitution of this state,
according to the Constitution of this state,
to exercise the duties of the office
to exercise the duties of the office
to which I have been elected,
to which I have been elected,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties thereof,
discharge the duties thereof,
and preserve, protect, and defend
and preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of this state and of the United States.
the Constitution of this state and of the United States.
As council member of the City of Isle of Palms,
As council member of the City of Isle of Palms,
I will equally, fairly, and impartially,
I will equally, fairly, and impartially,
to the best of my ability and skill,
to the best of my ability and skill,
exercise the trust reposed in me,
exercise the trust reposed in me,
and will use my best endeavor
and will use my best endeavor
to preserve the peace
to preserve the peace
and carry into effect, according to law,
and to carry into effect, according to law,
the purposes for which I've been elected.
the purposes for which I have been elected.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Next, we have Susan Hill Smith, who's also starting her first term on City Council. She is joined by her spouse, Mick Smith, and their 3 children, Jacqueline, Samantha, and Tyson.
I, Susan Hill Smith,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I am duly qualified,
that I am duly qualified,
according to the Constitution of the state,
according to the Constitution of the state,
to exercise the duties of the office
to exercise the duties of this office
to which I have been elected,
to which I have been elected,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties thereof,
discharge the duties thereof,
and preserve, protect, and defend
and preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of this state and of the United States.
the Constitution of this state and the United States.
As council member of the City of Isle of Palms,
As council member of the City of Isle of Palms,
I will equally, fairly, and impartially,
I will equally, fairly, and impartially,
to the best of my ability and skill,
to the best of my ability and skill,
exercise the trust reposed in me.
exercise
Trust
the trust
reposed in me.
reposed in me,
And will use my best endeavor
and will use my best endeavor
to preserve the peace
to preserve the peace
and carry into effect,
and carry into effect,
according to law,
according to law,
the purposes for which I've been elected.
the purposes for which I've been elected.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. So next, we are going to call on Mayor Jimmy Carroll for some inaugural comments. That will be followed by a benediction, and then we will have the new seated council member come to the dais and we'll conduct some business, after which we will have some refreshments.
I've got to get my notes. Thank you, everyone. I promise this won't take more than an hour. In all seriousness, this election was not about me and our newly elected council, but more about you, the residents, having a voice to be heard on the island. While I was elected mayor, I am but one of 9 votes, and I realize this is a team effort. For me, this election is a culmination of a lifetime of giving back to my community, something that I've always believed in. I had 4 strong women help guiding me: my mother, Carmen Bunch, Helen Clarkin, and my girlfriend Carol Powers. They all encouraged me to give back in every aspect of my life. And If tried that, and I know I've passed that along to my sons. I'm very proud of my sons. If there's anything I'm more proud of is how they've turned out as young men. And it's not me just raising them, but also their mother. For me, today represents a full circle. I sought the advice of our previous leaders in December of 2016. On this day, 1 year ago, January 2nd, 2017, I announced my intention to run for mayor. Our election was on November 7th, my mother's birthday. Having Monsignor McInerney lead us in prayer in our benediction is special in that he's been part of my family's life from baptisms, communions, and even death. Thank you. Today, our island moves forward with new leadership. It is our job to represent the community. We will do this with a fresh, positive outlook. We bring different skills and values to our city. And while I know we will not always agree on things, I believe that we can agree to disagree at times and always keep in sight that we are moving towards making our community a better place for our kids and for our future generations. This will be a council that shows both respect and civility. Once our last council seat is filled on February 13th, we will hold a joint public and council visioning session. The first part will be the public to give us their ideas, and the second part will be council to prioritize those needs. I'm looking forward to that. We all know we live on God's piece of paradise, and we all have certain needs and issues we need to take care of. We need to do this looking forward. I promise to make myself available to everyone. While it is, whether it's a bi-weekly coffee or a bi-weekly or a bi-monthly office time, I am available for everyone. I've made it a point over the last 6 years of getting to know our city employees. They're the ones who make our city special. Every department, we have great people. We have some employees who have been with us for many decades. That shows us that we've got a great city and a great community in which to work. This past year, the city has acknowledged that we have achieved many goals. There's a list back in the back of these accomplishments for everybody to pick up and review. Just to highlight a few of them, right now we're going through a major multi-million-dollar beach renourishment. The dredge is on the way, I'm told. The pipes are on the beach. The tractors are on the beach. It's soon to start. We also have going on right now a drainage project. This follows phase 1 drainage, and phase 2 is taking place as we speak again. This is something that we needed to do. The avenues on the northern end of the island get flooded. We have people who live down there and they can't get to their homes. So again, we're going forward with that. This past year, we also took our drainage plan with Edie's and increased the once a year cleaning of the pipes to 3 times a year. And already we see an improvement on the drainage of the island. Again, this is something that we have to go forward and work on. Like our, and the reason I say that, our drainage, we have many areas in this island that are on septic tanks, so we got to get the water off the island. So again, we're going forward with that. We are already seeing good results, and even more special is our police department. We have achieved 5 straight years of CALEA awards. CALEA is the Commission Accredited for Law Enforcement Agencies. That's a very big honor for our police department. And on top of that, our chief, Chief Buchanan, has had 15 years recognition for leading a department that's been accredited. My hat's off to the chief. We also resurfaced Palm Boulevard from Breach Inlet to 21st Avenue. We put bicycle paths on both sides of the road. This is just a portion of our overall goal of improving and expanding alternative modes of transportation and pedestrian safety, which is part of our comprehensive plan. This past August 21st, we were the last continental United States city in the path of the Great American Eclipse. Each of our departments participated in making this event a success. We had national media out here, including National Geographic. It put us not only on the map, but everybody got to see us. So a great job to everyone on that. There are many other achievements, but I'm not going to sit here and read them off to you. Again, they're back there in the back. Pick them up and read them. But be proud of your city because it's done a great job in our residents and for our residents. In closing, please remember this is a new gig for me. I will need all the help I can get in moving forward. As the city's vision statement says, it's not just mine, but everyone's goals to leave our island in a better shape than when we found it, so our future generations can enjoy a beautiful island as well. Thank you.
If you would please rise for the benediction.
Such a happy occasion to have two benedictions. One is Irish, and one's the prayer of Aaron. For the Irish benediction, for those elected to office, mayor and council, may those who love you always love you. For those who don't love you, may the Lord turn their hearts. If he can't turn their hearts, may he turn their ankles, so you'll know them by their limping. May the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord grant you his peace. Amen. Amen.
Thank you. And if I could ask council members and the mayor to please take the dais so that we can conduct the city's business. Also, all members of council and the mayor will need to sign their oath after this meeting.
Welcome, welcome. It's a lot of fun up here. If you're sitting next to me.
Fun on it.
I never remember moving down here. We changed it up on you.
He'll have to arrive a minute early since he has to walk a little bit further.
Oh, I know. We'll make them go around the other way.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Our first order of business is the appointment of members to our city boards, commissions, and committees. And I'd like also the appointment of our city judges, city attorney, assistant city attorney, appointments to our Carter Board, Berkeley, Charleston, Dorchester Council of Governments, and the Charleston and Charleston's Visitors Bureau. I make that as a motion.
Second. What's the motion? Could you clarify?
Clarifying is all the above of the commissions, boards, committees, city judge, attorney, assistant city attorney, CARTA, COG, Council of Governments.
And the committees, you're referring to our standing committees?
Our standing committees.
Okay. I'd like to offer a suggestion, but before I do that, I want to congratulate you and the members of council for being elected. You'll find, as the Jimmies have, running is very different than governing. And in governing, we get tied down in some bureaucracy and some details. And I'll make this short because I want to enjoy, and I hope all of you do, this very nice evening. And I want to thank all of our citizens for being here. At our December meeting, and Jimmy hit the nail on the head with his remarks, our city has a council form of government in which we are one of equals. And the committee process really dictates how we govern. And so I offered in December that we look at the committees that we've established and see if they're still the right committees. We played softball earlier in the year, and it dawned on me I hadn't played softball since I had a cell phone. I was a little rusty. I suspect these committees were established before we all had cell phones. There are things like environmental issues that are paramount to our island. Energy, IT, other infrastructure issues that we didn't deal with 10, 15 years ago that aren't represented on our committees. So given the importance of these committees, I suggest that we hold off until the body can come together, understand our experiences, and where we want to serve on these committees, how we best can serve our citizens as a group, and that we hold off on this decision. Furthermore, I'll offer to you what's in our code, which is our governing body, that I don't know that we've followed, and I think that we should. Many of the people that were recently elected talked during the election about openness and transparency. This is a great opportunity under your leadership, and you asked for help in your remarks, and we're here to help you. It's a great opportunity to have openness and transparency where the formation of our committees are paramount as to how we're going to govern in the future. And interestingly enough, and I understand that traditions sometimes get in the way, but in our code, I'll read you a section regarding the appointment of members to committees. In an election year, a special council meeting will be held no later than December 15th. The mayor shall receive nominations from seated council members who carry over council members-elect for appointments of members of each standing committee for the following year. Following the swearing-in of council members-elect, such nominations shall be appointed by a majority vote of council for a special council meeting to be held in January. Appointments shall be announced by the mayor at the special meeting. So I think we've got a bit ahead of ourselves. I don't recall if any of us have been queried as to the committees themselves, our roles in the committees, number one. And number two, we need to have time to hold a special meeting to officially announce it and to prepare accordingly. So with regards to standing committees, Jimmy, I would strongly recommend that we postpone that, and I would ask my colleagues to comment.
I think we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Yes, ma'am.
I'll jump in. Ted, I really hear what you're saying, but I think at this point, with this many new council members, we should move forward and start doing the business of the city with our committees. But I do think it's something we really should consider and look at in a visioning workshop with everybody, especially the environmental issues. And there are so many issues that I think are kind of left out in the cold, so to speak. Tonight it's a good pun. But it is something we really should consider is how the committees, what different topics that everybody should really cover so that we don't leave things falling between the cracks with the changing technology you had mentioned, which is critical. There's so many things. Things are changing so fast. But I don't think it does us any favors to wait another month.
Knowing that we're going to have these committees for a year or two, a month, and while we don't have a full council formed, is not a big jeopardy. The city has run quite well over the last month, and we didn't hold committee meetings. But to get it right and do it now, under the auspices of Jimmy's leadership of openness and transparency. So we had a discussion briefly in December. We're having it now with our best attended meeting for citizens to weigh in, to tell us, is environment important? We have an impact on the environment, and certainly as a barrier island, the environment has an impact on us. We do not have an environmental committee, folks, and there are other areas such as this. So why rush when we don't have to?
A point of order, I'd like to ask the city attorney, does not Robert's Rules of Order state that on discussion, on issues under discussion, that each council member speaks one time and one time only until every other council member's had a chance to speak? Is that not true?
Well, that's true. I mean, everyone can take a turn to speak during the discussion. So
any more
hasn't been
comment?
a call for the vote. I don't think, unless there has been.
Any more discussion?
No, I hear what Ted's saying. I agree that we need to look at the committees and look at whether we need to expand or kind of move them around. The idea of having environmental, studies and what committees and who's on them and how they're being appointed. And I'd have a question for the attorney to look at that as also. If the city was not following the code, what are the repercussions of that as well?
We are following it as far as doing these appointments. So the standing committees are all in the code now. And if we do want to make changes, that would be something where we would actually have to amend the city code in order to add new committees or change them.
Correct.
So it's something we could definitely look into.
And then that's what I'm saying. In order to amend the code and change the codes, I think we need to move forward on the discussion of this as well. But like I said, in order to change the code, we got we got some, either put in a bunch of special meetings but we have to have notice and, so.
Well, with
Okay.
regards to points of order, I have a point of order regarding this meeting. The notice on the website indicates that we're having an inauguration. There's no reference of a special meeting, but for at the bottom of this agenda. And that certainly isn't open and transparent, and I don't understand the rush to do this when we can collectively sit down together, understand each other's backgrounds, the newly elected officials, understand what the committees do. It will take you time. And 3 months out, you'll be asking yourself questions about, here was the opportunity. Have meetings over the next several weeks on this singular topic, which drives our governance. Our committees and a council form of government drives our governance.
Okay. Anybody else?
I have, the point of order is to the attorney.
The special meeting was properly noticed in accordance with FOIA. I believe the agenda was posted on the city website on December the 20th.
The agenda was, but the specific meeting was not.
The agenda is the notice that's required for a FOIA notice to be proper.
And this is a special city council meeting that was duly advertised.
And the agenda does include all of these topics on there, so.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I would agree with what Carol was saying in terms of I see the visioning discussion as a good place for us to talk about potential reshaping of committees and subjects that the different committees or possibly the naming of the committees so that they make more sense. But I think that we have business to do that we need to go ahead and move forward with, and I wouldn't want committee assignments currently to slow that down.
Okay. Hearing it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays?
Nay?
Okay. What I see now is called, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So made, Mr. Mayor. Motion to adjourn.
And we have a second.
Folks, welcome.
I'll second. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When is the office of Mayor Pro Tem filled?
At the first council meeting in January. So it'll be on the agenda for the first regular council meeting in
So
January.
we won't have one until the end of the month.
That's correct, unless you want to call a special meeting for that purpose.
This is special.
Come on.
All right, I heard a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Everyone,
adjourned.
please stay and enjoy the refreshments.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Jimmy.